Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will talk about the astrology for the week of September 29th, 2024. There is still time to join today's solar eclipse workshop about the solar eclipse in Libra. You will learn all about this important lunation. Eclipses are times of big change and opportunity where we walk through a door and we turn around and there's a wall. I will do as many hot take natal chart readings as I can. So you can sign up at the link in the show notes or go to my website, astrologybyceleste.com. I hope to see you there. The theme of this week is parental advisory, and there are three big things I'd like you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that we have a Grand Trine in water. Venus is in Scorpio, trine Mars in Cancer, trine Saturn in Pisces. Trines are aspects that have the nature of Jupiter. They are an aspect of ease and flow where the energy can just flow very easily. Now, they're thought to be lucky or advantageous, but things can also just go down the tubes really quickly. When the Titanic sunk, I believe it was the moon and Mars were in a trine in water, and it just like sunk like a stone. I might have that wrong for the chart for when it sunk, but it was a trine that it just like almost sunk like a stone. So keep that in mind, because I have to be honest, I don't love this Grand Trine for several reasons. Now, water energy is very intuitive. It's the feeling body, but with too much water, we can feel like we're drowning in emotion and it can just get a little wild. And we've just recently had the big lunar eclipse in Pisces. So there is this amplification of the water energy that can be almost too much. It can be like a big wave coming up, like almost feel like a tsunami energy where there's just this overwhelming sense of emotions. And why I say that is because Venus is in detriment in a sign of Scorpio, where it can get really intense in relationships or desiring of something, Venus, and with Scorpio, like holding on to it with an iron fist energy, like with a relationship, someone getting really, really uber jealous of their partner in a relationship or jealous of someone else who has the relationship that they think they want. So keep that in mind. You may see an amplification of jealousy, coveting, and that sort of thing, like talking behind someone's back, trying to say nasty things about them, but it stems from jealousy. And then Mars is in the sign of its fall in Cancer, where it can be extremely emotionally reactive and quickly getting into conflict because Cancer is an initiating sign. And then Saturn doesn't like to be in Pisces. Saturn rules structures. It doesn't like to be in Pisces where there's this dissolving of structures, or it can get like the mental illness. You can think about Saturn rules chronic things, and Pisces has some associations with being mentally all over the place or like this paranoia energy. So just keep in mind with this Grand Trine, people get caught in emotional loops where they get overwhelmed by feelings of anger or jealousy or resentment or feeling like, oh my God, nothing I do comes to anything. Like Mars and Cancer, the actions I take just wash away kind of energy. So if you find yourself falling into that, I think an antidote is to get up and go out and maybe exercise. None of the planets are in fire right now, and fire is that energy that kind of gets you pumped, gets you going. But the North Node's in Aries, so this is what we're reaching for. So if you find yourself getting lost in loops or depressed, it's great to get out and get some exercise or go for a walk if that's something you can do. Now, using this Grand Trine in a positive way, grounded spiritual practices can be Saturn in Pisces, and with Mars in Cancer, maybe have some healthier boundaries with family members could possibly be something that you could use this for. And Venus in Scorpio can be a healer. That can be healing energy. So they're all going to be around 14 degrees of those signs. So if you have something at 14 degrees or right around there, I would say 12 to 16 especially, you may be feeling this in some kind of way or seeing other people acting in accordance of this. Now, what I wrote down, it's called parental advisory, is because kids are back in school and I can really see bad stuff happening at frat houses where Mars in Cancer, you're being like attacked by people you want to make your family Cancer, their partnerships or their allies, Venus kind of thing. And yeah, just bad things happening at frats or sororities where people are being pressured Saturn to drink too much or do some kind of drug, Pisces, in order for feelings of belonging and wanting to be a part of it. So there's more opportunity with the lunar eclipse and this energy for kids to be getting too sick with drugs. And if you know someone or you yourself has an issue with substances, just be mindful that it could get a little out of hand with this. You can get really stuck in a loop with it. I also think there could be like students fighting against one another. Mars and Cancer, people who are supposed to be, part of the same family or they live in the same place, in the same dorm or something like that, but they have different opinions about whatever, whether it's about, conflict overseas or the election or what have you, and really getting it into it with each other, and maybe even like religious or racial hatred on campuses, or the police haven't been called in because of like a protest getting out of hand. Could be something that comes up. So see how you notice the Grand Trine in water. There's probably going to be stories on the seas about hopefully not countries coming into conflict with each other, but, like a cruise ship, people get sick on the cruise ship, or there's some problem on boats and things like that, or things around ocean life or something. So notice stories you hear about water. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Mercury will go Cazimi tomorrow at 8 degrees of Libra at 2:09 p.m. Pacific time. Mercury Cazimi is when Mercury meets the sun and starts a new cycle. The sun is the life-giving force, and it is associated with the king in astrology, or the sovereign. And when any planet meets the sun, it starts a new cycle, and where the old stories are burned off. And yeah, right before Cazimi, there is this symbology of like limping along. You're at the end of life, and it's like the Nine of Wands in the tarot with the head bandaged and like the person on the crutch and the veteran limping home after war. And then you get to sit at the heart of the king and ask for whatever you want. It's thought to be very beneficial. People who have planets Cazimi in their natal charts can be that planet. They have extra gifts around it. The official measurement of Cazimi is within 17 minutes of the degree of the sun. So not the degree, it's the minutes, 17 minutes on either side. So it's a really tight, close to the sun. Some older astrologers, as long as it's at the same degree, it's considered Cazimi. So it's a great time to get quiet right around 2:09 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. And you may get some great ideas. You can think about what you really want to manifest in the relationship in Libra topics. You can think about your one-on-one relationships or bringing more balance into your life and things like that. But there is this death symbology with Cazimi. So this is another reason I'm kind of worried about this weekend before this with the frats and the sororities and things like that. like someone drinking so much that, they really damage their health. You can think about how the choices, Mercury rules our thought processes, that you make can have long time repercussions, and people can get caught up in things with this. So just keep that in mind. Generally, Cazimis are thought of positively because now Mercury's fresh and it starts a new cycle. And if you're wrestling with the decision, maybe give it a couple of days as something that you can think about. Now, at 8, almost 9 degrees of Libra is a fixed star called Diadem. And Diadem is like a headpiece that's associated with royalty, that like a crown. It's called the crown star. There may be secrets revealed or news that comes out around royalty or royal figures with this. Diadem is also associated with the people who do a service just for the point of doing the service and not expecting, monetary rewards or praise or anything like that, just doing it because it's the right thing to do. So see if you notice any stories that come up into the news about that topic. There could be like legal cases. Libra rules legal affairs. And Mercury is the planet of communication, transportation, and thought processes. So, yeah, you can think about driving, being blinded by the sun, for a minute, and it can be disorienting. But then when you get on the other side, there's like this really new, fresh start. The Birthdate Company makes amazing products, and I am a proud affiliate. I especially love the Birthdate book. It's a fully personalized, beautiful, and unique reading of your birth chart with over 70 pages of detailed horoscope analysis. It is such high quality. I absolutely love it. They also make amazing birth date candles. You can get it for yourself or as a gift for someone else. So check out the store and use my coupon code Celeste10 for a 10% discount. Go to bit.ly/3PW3NFM. You can find that in the link in the show notes. Enjoy. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that there'll be a solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Libra on Wednesday. Solar eclipses are new moons times 10 or 10,000, depending on your chart. So if you have anything, and I would really even look at 6 to 9 degrees of Libra, there's probably going to be a story in your life, as well as if you have anything in Aries, that there may be a story from someone outside of yourself, or Cancer or Capricorn. These are all the cardinal signs. There may be a story in your life related to the house this eclipse is in your chart, or the nature of Libra affairs. There's something called the Saros series, which is a family of eclipses that happen about every 18 years or so. There's two families of eclipses. One is called the Metonic cycle and one is called the Saros cycle. But the Saros cycle, the eclipses have the same nature. And Bernadette Brady delineated all of these from the birth charts. They either start at the North or the South Pole, and they last for 1,300 years and happen every about 18 years. There'll be another eclipse related to that family of eclipses. And this Saros cycle has the nature of separation and loss, and there's the potential for physical injury. So just be mindful to take extra time to warm up if you're exercising and things like that, because that is the nature of this eclipse. The sun and the moon are both at 10 degrees of Libra, which is the 3 of Swords tarot card. Now, this is the heartbreak card, and it's a professor peering over his glasses at his students. That's the Sabian symbol, which brings in themes of, again, schools. And that's another reason I think colleges may be where we see some of the action. I mean, it might just be about the Gaza protests starting up again or what have you. Although school's been in session for a while, or maybe there'll be Who knows? There could be some other big action on campuses potentially or at schools. Intellectual superiority is kind of associated with that professor peering over his glasses. But with the Three of Swords, there could be some themes of heartbreak and loss. You may find yourself thinking about an old relationship, especially while Mercury is Cazimi. Yeah, around then. So just keep that in mind. The cherubal symbol is a centaur, half man, half horse, armed with a bow and arrow. And it's a degree of alternation. And that is associated with a person of dubious character causing trouble. Like maybe talking out of both sides of their mouth with Libra energy. There can be like a sense of indecision or two-facedness and things like that. So see if this shows up in a story right around this date. I mean, this is really important for Israel because this eclipse is happening to their Neptune, which dissolves in the 12th house. And eclipses in general are known for taking out leaders. And Benjamin Netanyahu's chart is really activated. So I'm taping this like September 3rd because of my travel schedule, but he may already be gone. But yeah, he's a leader that I'm looking that we may see him being replaced or his troubles are just getting worse. This is to Kate Middleton's Mars, and she's had health issues, but maybe this will be her return back to work and she'll start doing events again. I mean, this is still conjunct Diadem, the crown star, so maybe that's the royal story about her going back to her duties. There could be new stories about things related to Libra topics, laws, legal affairs, partnerships, high-profile marriages, like people getting together or separating. Also, Libra rules peace. Wouldn't it be wonderful if somewhere around the world there was peace? But it's a south node solar eclipse, so the south node's a drain, or there can be a breakdown of peace and an escalation of conflict. Now, this solar eclipse is opposite the sun of Iran, so there can be a story about Iran. So Iran's sun is at 10 Aries. Neptune for Israel is at 10 Libra. So there could be something in relation to them. But let's say if Benjamin Netanyahu is replaced, then that could be, advantageous in Iran's mind, unless it's someone worse for them. But, they've had an enemy relationship for a long time. We'll see what happens. This solar eclipse is starting a new 27 months cycle called the lunar phase family, where every 9 months, the moon will be at the same position and activating your chart in the same area. So there could be an unfolding story. So the sun and the moon are both at 10 Libra on October 2nd, 2024. The first quarter moon, where the sun is in Cancer and the moon is in Libra, is July 2nd, 2025, both at 11 degrees. The full moon of this cycle, where the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Libra, is at 12 degrees on April 1st on 2026. And the last quarter moon, where the sun in Capricorn and the moon in Libra, December 30th, 2026, both at 9 degrees. So this is the last Libra eclipse of this recent cycle. So it's opening up a 6-month window, and we shall see what occurs. But again, remember, watch out for stressing or working out yourself too hard, because there's that physical injury indication, especially if you have something around 10 degrees of Libra. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 60 or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching, where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is hazing. This is the day that the sun is conjunct the south node at 6 Libra. So the south node is a drain. Now, it also can be associated with charitable actions. So you may see a leader doing something charitable. The sun rules leaders. The sun is the one, like the shining light. The moon is the many. Kamala Harris, Putin, and Netanyahu are all Libra suns. They are some people who you can think about. Oh, Gavin Newsom, he's my governor. He's also a Libra. So they could have some kind of hiccup, or they can be talking about doing something of service or something of charity. The moon enters the sign of Virgo at 2:41 a.m. Pacific time. Virgo is mutable earth energy. It rules health. Virgo's job is to bring order to chaos. It also it rules the intestines. Now, this day, Mercury and Libra will also be conjunct the south node at 6 degrees. Yeah, there can be some kind of communication that sends someone down the drain. This is the day Mars in Cancer trines Saturn in Pisces, both at 14 degrees of the respective signs. And Mars and Saturn are the malefics, which takes away from life. I wrote a leader could drown or face consequences for deception. I don't really think a leader is going to drown, but you could see a leader in water and looking like you may see an image of like a leader going down the drain, like say Netanyahu's taken out. That could be something. Like a water fight could get out of hand. I wrote down with this energy, like with the fraternity hazing where they're like pushing someone in a pool down or forcing someone to drink something until they need to be hospitalized. That's the images I'm getting with this. On Monday, the word of the day is enlightenment. So this is the day that Mercury's Cazimi at 8 Libra. So it's a great time to take time to pause and meditate, write down any great insights. Mercury starts a new cycle. But I should say, the whole reason I'm talking about the potential for hazing is for people who listen to the podcast, talk to your kids about being extra careful around drugs and alcohol over this lunation cycle. Yeah, so that's what you can do with Mercury Cazimi. But hopefully, you've already talked to them about this sort of thing. On Tuesday, the word of the day is critique. You may ask someone to review something with you. With the moon in Virgo, that can help you like analyze, find any errors, and have ideas to make it better. Virgo is the editor, which can see the flaws and pick out the spelling mistakes and makes things look better or sound better. The moon will enter Libra at 3:19 p.m. Pacific time. Libra rules relationships, those one-on-one relationships of all kinds, legal affairs. Your mind may turn to a romantic relationship or something like that, or art or culture. Yeah, there may be stories around these topics as well. On Wednesday, the word is intensity. This is the day of the solar eclipse at 10 Libra at 11:49 a.m. Pacific time. With eclipses, we walk through a door and turn around and there's a wall. So just be mindful about, getting into arguments with anyone that you care about, because it can cause a rupture in a relationship where then you're not talking to each other. Because on this day, Mercury is sesqui-square Uranus. But this can be exciting. Uranus can be exciting. So this maybe people are going to be getting engaged with a solar eclipse in Libra when their charts are activated. So there can be new partnerships, and you can have karma together because it's conjunct the south node, the solar eclipse. So you meet someone new and it's like you've known each other forever. And maybe, your souls are coming back together to complete your karma. On Thursday, the word of the day is two-faced. This could be the image of someone speaking out of both sides of their mouth. Venus is sesqui-square Neptune, like somebody you're in a relationship with. You think they're like giving you the snow job or trying to make you fall for the okie doke. I got like that, ooh, baby, don't you know I would never do this, that, and the other thing. Mercury in Libra is quincunx Saturn in Pisces, both at 14 degrees. Quincunxes move us into new situations where we have to release and let go of something. So that's also why just be mindful of your communication, Mercury, and being too hard on or pressuring of someone else with Saturn in Pisces, or too critical. On Friday, the word of the day is poison. So I got the song by Belle DeVoe in my head while I was writing. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say something like that, but Putin getting a taste of his own medicine. He loves to poison people. But I was thinking about more like the song by Belle DeVoe is about a woman. It's about, you can't trust a big butt and a smile. That song that was such a huge hit in the 80s. There's a Scorpio moon at 4:22 a.m. Pacific time. So you could see like a beautiful woman with a big butt and a smile walking down the road. And so I think the poison is like the man can't get enough of her. So he's willing to do things to his own detriment in order to be close to her. It's like something in the song. Venus in Scorpio is trine Saturn and Pisces, both at 14 degrees. I wrote down stinky perfume, like you're at the department store and you open a perfume because Venus is in its detriment in Scorpio, and then you smell it, and like Pisces is the diffusive of the smell, and you smell it and you're like, oh, that's disgusting. That could be Venus and Scorpio trine Saturn and Pisces. Or it could be like a relationship dies, literally. Scorpio rules death, Saturn's the grim reaper. And you may have a relationship that just has run its course and it's over. Or somebody's telling you about a relationship that has run its course and it's over. Or you watch a movie about it or read a book. On Saturday, the word of the day is probate. Mercury in Libra is square Mars in Cancer. They're both at 17 degrees. And for this, Libra rules legal affairs, Cancer the family, Mars fights, Mercury argues and destabilizes. I got the image of kids squabbling over an inheritance. And Maury Povich saying, you are not the father. So, yeah, that maybe you'll watch a movie about this. But this Mars and Mercury being in square can be like verbal arguments. And with Cancer, like between people who are in a family. Or just a couple arguing. You might walk by about a couple arguing about a house. Cancer rules the home. Or people can be in like really negotiating for a new home or selling a home, and they're in conflict. So it doesn't have to be anything bad, but there's this energy of conflict. I wrote down legal battles over water, like the Colorado River. That whole Grand Trine in water, that could also be something about, you know what this could be? Something about like two countries getting into it who have a border. And I know one of the things that's keeping Israel from a ceasefire is the border between Gaza and Egypt. Netanyahu says he wants to be able to have troops there. So that, there can be something. Hopefully this horrific war is over by then, but who knows what's going on. But anyway, that could be something like squabbling over a border or water rights around a border could be something that comes up in the news with this energy. But the U.S. and Mexico have had some conflicts about the Colorado River as something that has been coming up over the last couple of years. So, or states in the U.S. have been in conflict over water rights. So there may be something about that. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at Celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. So take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.